This episode of the Music Production Podcast is brought to you by my new Ableton Live pack called Chillstruments. Chillstruments contains 70 Ableton Live instrument racks made with samples of Teenage Engineering's OP1 synthesizer. I use the 10 synthesizer engines of the OP1 to create these laid-back, relaxed, soothing sounds. There's 70 of them. They're all racked up into Ableton Live instrument racks with effects and controls that allow you to customize each sound to fit your production. If you're looking for some more mellow sounds, something to create some soothing music, maybe ambient music, or just a little touch in the background that's not too aggressive, I really think these sounds are great. There's 70 of them. There's a lot of diversity: bass, piano, pads, strings, winds, lots of cool sounds, lots of possibilities. You can get it at my site, brianfunk.com. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Music Production Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Funk. We talk about all of the things related to making music on this show. And today, I think we're going to have an interesting discussion about making music as humans, as machines, as learning creatures. It's kind of a fun discussion, I think, on artificial intelligence and all of that stuff. I think they're releasing a new Terminator movie today. It's November 1st, we're recording this. And recently just did a podcast about some other artificial intelligence stuff. So this kind of continues that conversation. And today I have Paul Zgordan. And Paul is working with Mubert, which is a company that is providing generative music created by machines, I believe, is how it's happening. We're going to find out more about that. But Paul also works, he's a DJ, sound producer, sound designer, musician. He works at a Russian music production school doing tutorials in Russian. And I'm excited to have you on the show, Paul. Thanks for joining me.
Hi, Brian. Hi, all. Thank you for inviting me. And let's talk about generative music and artificial intelligence and something
cool
like that. Yeah.
And don't be fooled by his background of New York City. He's coming from Russia. Just a coincidence.
Yeah, it's like it's just a background. So I'm in Moscow now.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So I've had a chance to look at the website and play around with the app for a few minutes. There's also an iOS app and I think Android as well. But maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to the company Mubert, and then maybe about Mubert, and then we'll be on our way.
Yeah, so as Brian said, I'm a musician and DJ, and I started to make music and DJ maybe in early 2000s and maybe 2004. I worked at online music school, first Russian music school, and in musical instruments shops. So I have a lot of experience with synthesizers, with DJ controllers, something like that. And also I have a musical education, basic, but still. And all of my life, I'm doing some IT and music stuff, so online music, something. So, and also I worked for Future Music Russia magazine. So it's like a Russian version, official Russian version of computer music and future music magazines. So, and I was translating some text for them. From English to Russian. So, and one day I was sitting with my friend, developer, and he dropped idea about maybe we can do a generator which will produce the music in the real time actually our main goal was to develop a product which users from maybe B2B segment, some businesses and restaurants and cafes will use it for background music to prevent some copyright issues. yeah, and we started to think about it and how to do it. But yeah, it was like very standard idea for us because we were doing some we were doing different IT and music stuff, and we stopped to think about it one day, and after that, maybe a year and a half after this day, I was surfing the web and found this Mubert site. These guys, they developed this product, which um, we were dreaming about with my friend. And I decided to join them, and and I wrote to Alex Kachetkov, our CEO, Mubert CEO, and so uh, I told him that I have some ideas about this product, this application, and we started to work together. So the main idea of that if you have a great idea, you can find people who make something similar, and you can join them and make something great together. So yeah, that's how I started to work with Mubert. So at that moment, they were like maybe a year or half a year developing their product. And now I'm working for the Mubert maybe for mm, 3 years or 2.5 years. Yeah. So as a music director. So yeah, that's how I um, started to do some generative music application.
Right, that must have been a funny moment to see that this idea you had yourself was
Mhm.
already happening somewhere. So I think it's
Yeah.
kind of a cool thing that you've decided to join.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's so much competition in music, and like you said, I think is a great point that we can sometimes come together and make something better together.
Yeah. So and now I think that this is the main idea of our startup, the collaboration. So we developed an engine, the Mubert's algorithm. So and this algorithm gives us opportunity to make collaborations you can upload some loops, some drums or synthesizers or guitars, so you name it. And Mubert, an algorithm, can produce the music from these loops. So you can collab with every musician in the world just by uploading your own part. So and yeah, collaboration is the core of our product. So that's why I think that it was important to tell you the story about my own experience with this uh, joining Mubert, yeah, team.
Right. So the idea is that Mubert is generating music based off of samples, correct?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it allows what I'm looking at the site. It says it delivers an unlimited number of real-time generated, never-ending music streams in any genre and mood.
Yeah, yeah, it can do it actually. So we have a platform for musicians. We have application for distributing this content, and we have an algorithm that generates music from loops and samples. So I can tell more about how Mubert works. On one side, you have musicians who upload in loops, some instrumental loops. So it's like stems, like drums, bass parts, percussions, heads, snares, claps. We have at this moment we have 10 different instruments in our platform. So you can take your DW project, so for example, unfinished demo, and maybe you can finish it. So it's a very usual thing to musicians to have a lot of
Yeah.
unfinished demos.
Right.
Yeah, and Mubert gives you opportunity to make a sample pack from these unfinished demos and upload it to the platform. Tag it with some different tags. So uh, when you are uploading these loops, you are helping to create a very big data set and database of sounds. And so in this moment, when you uploaded sounds, Mubert starts to analyze these sounds in different ways with the help of some machine learning algorithms. For example, it can analyze the intensity of your sound. It can analyze some spectral features. So, and after that, when you hit play, it it starts to play music from these loops. So it's like an endless life from these samples. So it generates music. So our algorithm it works like a musician actually. So like electronic musician. It can start with kick and bass, then turn on pads or leads or something like this. So it's like you are playing the live, but not you. An algorithm is playing this live. But samples are uploaded by musicians. So it's not a machine music. So we tried to make an algorithm that creates sounds from nothing actually. So uh, it can synthesize some sound and it can generate some melody, but it doesn't sound good. So we decided to use musician sounds, and we are all musicians in Mubert team. So all of our developers are musicians or DJs or listeners. Yeah. So we decided that it's more cool to use human sounds, and yeah. So that's why we created this platform that every musician in the world can use for free. So yeah, and after that, uh, every user in the world again, so can click play, and he can listen to his or her own version of this live. So every generation is unique. So and in our application, you have Android or iOS, you have this like or dislike button. So when you are listening to the stream um, made from human samples, you can tune this music according to your taste. So when you hit like, the algorithm can learn from this action, and next time it will produce music with more of similar sounds, and if you hit dislike, it can exclude some similar sounds from the generations, from the generative music. So it's like so yeah, we have idea to create this music player that can compose music for you exclusively, and this music will be based on your taste. Music is interactive and adaptive, and you can tune this music. Sounds I think that it sounds great because static music is okay, but nowadays we don't have any interesting experience with content, maybe, and we decided to experiment with the form, not with styles or genres, but we are experimenting now more with form. So we are making music interactive. We have an API that can help other developers to use our technology. So if you're a developer, you can use our API to make your own application that will use our technology. So, for example, you are a game developer, and you can use this generative music for your application actions in your game. They will change the music. Yeah.
So if it's like, say it's like a game developer that needs music for their game, they can use Mubert to kind of like compose something totally unique and original for that game. And would that mean like they then get like a recording that they put into their game, or is it always going to be different every time the person plays the game?
So
Or is
you can choose some genres or set of so maybe some limited number of samples. So yeah, you can you can have some kind of limitations to make sounds in your game recognizable. But idea is to use this technology, make music in your game interactive. So without any other engines. So, but yeah, of course, now interactive music in games are very common. Uh, I think that interactive music is born in this game development. Maybe yeah, my example about games is not maybe it's not exclusive, but yeah, for other applications, for example, for some social media applications or some editors, so like content creation tools, you can use API without these game development tools that now they're using for the interactive music.
Yeah, I mean, our world today is surrounded in music. There's music everywhere, and I guess, you know, as a company developing, like I see it like on your page, you have like there's fitness apps or podcasting, maybe even, or
Yeah.
that says public spaces, audiobooks, maps online, car sharing services, like a lot of different ideas, restaurants. So I guess like maybe you want a certain vibe at your restaurant, you can
Yeah. Yeah.
teach Mubert to kind of keep it within a certain kind of vibe, and it will constantly generate new music in that
Yeah,
style.
you meant fitness apps, for example. If you're jogging, so application can detect your speed.
Mm.
It can play music with similar BPM to keep you in the track.
Right.
So yeah, it's so Alex Kachetkov, our CEO, actually, his idea of Mubert was born when he was jogging, actually, and he was tired to change music in his player.
Mm.
So interactive music, yeah, good for this for similar cases when you want to uh, keep in track. So, for other example, other use case is meditation. So, for example, most of our users are listening to Mubert while they are meditating because they can sit maybe I don't know 30 minutes in one pose and the music isn't changing, so they can concentrate, and it's good for them
Mm.
because they can I don't know reach some deep states of mind.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that I see what you're saying. So
Mhm.
it's interesting to me on a couple levels. Like for one, this idea that like the music can be generated is
Mhm.
kind of a fun idea. I've experimented with that with Ableton Live, where maybe I'll put clips inside of my session view that maybe are in the same key,
Mhm.
similar rhythms and sounds, and then if you use the follow actions, you can tell it to change the clip at random, say every so often, and by doing that, you can really create music that'll never repeat, and just keep producing something new.
Yeah, so actually our technology is like follow action on steroids, so
Uh huh.
something like this. So you have a live set with maybe I don't know what maximum tracks you have in your projects, but yeah, we have 10 tracks, but also we have hundreds of thousands of samples, and they were analyzed by machine learning, with the help of machine learning, and it's not random, and it's playing with some rules, and for different genres we have different rules, generation rules. So techno and hip hop will so you can use samples mm, of one genre, but you can set some different genre in your settings, in your stream settings, and Mubert will compose a stream. So you can upload techno sounds, but to choose I don't know hip hop or ambient, and with different genres, it will sound different because
Mm.
yeah, there are different rules for uh, genres. So and yeah, so we have also structure tag, uh, which you don't have, for example, in Ableton. So you can set uh, for one loop you can set intro, for other drop, break, or something like this, and uh, Mubert will um, use these tags to I don't know understand where it can use this loop
Mm.
in intro section or break section. So it has different priorities, and you can set these priorities with tagging your sounds. So yeah, it's more versatile than follow actions. But actually, follow actions in Ableton Live is a very good tool to check your samples, to check how they will sound in this generative way. So, and yeah, I am using it, of course, because I'm working with in Ableton Live. I'm composing my music in Ableton Live, and yeah, Follow Actions is a very good tool.
Now, as a musician yourself, are you using Mubert as a composition tool to write your own music?
Actually, last year I have been composing only Mubert streams. I stopped to compose like static tracks because it's more interesting for me to make Mubert streams, make a generative music. So
Right.
because I have to learn how to make Mubert better. So because I'm a musical director, it's my job, and yeah, I'm always listening to this music that it is generating from my loops, and yeah, of course, I can notice some stuff that could be changed. Yeah. So now I am composing mostly for Mubert and generative music.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. You're doing your work.
Mm.
So I see, like on the site, I get it's directed a lot towards like businesses and people that would need music in their work. My question, I guess, is this something like suppose is this something like an artist can use? Like, could I take a bunch of samples of my own and throw it into Mubert and then get like my own Mubert created track with just my sounds and then use that to create something that I record and release? Is that a potential use for it? Or
Yeah, of course you can use it because you can use Mubert Pro platform to create your own generative music. It's our like social maybe project is to give a free tool to musicians. So and uh, we aren't using these sounds that we have from different users. So I can explain. As you can see on our site, there are a lot of words about business, B2B use cases. So it's our last idea to find business users. Yeah, because it's a very obvious business idea to find users from other businesses. Yeah, because they have a lot of issues with copyright. But Mubert, our application, we are going to make it free to use for all listeners. Now we have paid features, but we are going to remove them. So yeah, maybe we will try another monetization model, but all music will be free at our application. And we can't use, for example, if you will upload your sounds, we can't use them without your word. So
like permission?
and
Yeah.
yeah, without your permission, and we have to pay you to use it because yeah, it's legal stuff. So we are going to develop our own royalty system. So but now we are buying out samples from different musicians. We are ordering sample packs from professional sound designers or our fellow musicians or sound designers. And in these B2B and paid features, so we are using only these samples that we bought from sound designers or sample labels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can, of course, upload your sounds, and you can be sure that they will stay with your rights. So, and you can use Mubert to like a tool, yeah, like a composing tool. So, for example, if your stream is not public, so we have this publish feature. So you can experiment with sounds, experiment with different algorithms that we have, and you can, yeah, you can record it and maybe do some post production
Right.
stuff in your sequencer after this Mubert composition. So feel free to use it in this way. So if you don't know how to develop your composition, you can use Mubert for experimenting with this. So yeah, but one issue that we have that in this Mubert Pro, you're listening to converted audio, so it's all MP3. Maybe in future we will develop some feature that will give you opportunity to download this composition in good quality.
Right. And I guess that's all streaming services really, except some of the, there are some, I guess that, but that's like kind of the dream we have for all of our streaming music, that we'll get the high quality one day.
Yeah, like Tidal or something like this. So yeah,
Yeah.
there are a lot of them. So 5G, I think that it will change everything.
Yeah, because it's interesting that you put it that way, because it does. I have like a couple of the more, I guess, like difficult questions that the whole
Mhm.
idea of like computer generated music kind of raises, where
Mhm.
because some of the music that you know, like indie gamers are using, or apps are using, come from musicians who are making their money doing that. But there are, I guess, some other options that selling samples to Mubert even is a way. I wonder if I like that you guys are musicians, because I think it's easy for people to sort of imagine like the machines taking over, like, because it's like a real thing we're facing in our society with lots of jobs. Self-driving cars are like a reality, and they're becoming more and more prevalent. When so many jobs, like here in the US, there's so many
Mhm.
jobs for drivers, and there's a concern that those jobs could be taken over by robot cars, basically.
Yeah. So
And
it's a very common question for all AI and algorithm based startups, of course. So what you're going to do with these work workers who will lost their jobs? But I think that this idea of collaboration between people and algorithm will win actually. So because a lot of bright minds of our society who are thinking about this problem um, are telling that uh, it's a very, you know, optimistic but realistic too, that computers will collaborate with people, so algorithms will help people. So uh, I think that now we society has a very wrong image of algorithms. So
I did mention the Terminator movie in the beginning, like
yeah. So
right, the science fiction end of the world type of vision. I know what you're saying.
yeah, so sci-fi is great. I'm seen a lot of sci-fi movies, and I like this post-apocalyptic image of the world. So, but I think that if the Terminator in next movie will tweak some sounds with his modular synthesizer, so it will be a great movie. So so yeah, we can afraid of these scary military robots, but on we are politicians and we are good guys.
Yeah.
So don't afraid us. So yeah, Mubert is a collaborative tool in first place, and other tools that are used in algorithms. So of course there are a lot of generative music tools nowadays. So people use it for generating soundtracks for their videos, for example, or they can use them for mixing, for example, isotope neutron. It's a very great tool that can help you to mix your music, but it's based on neural networks, and yeah, so you can choose an option from this generated by uh, this tool, but still you are sound engineer, and and this VST plugin is only a plugin. It's not going to steal your money. Yeah, and your creativity. And generative and AI music, and generative and AI art as well, visuals and all of this. I think that it's only a new form of art. So, like when sound recording uh, was appeared, so live musicians didn't perished.
Right.
So they still making. So they still doing gigs, and it's great to visit a nice concert, and it's a very nice energy.
Mm-hmm.
And when so when sample packs arrived, so now it's simpler to make music, but again, so you can record, every drummer in the world can record uh, his or her own version of very simple pattern. So he or she, so they can use the sample, but they didn't use this sample because they want to record themselves. Every iteration of this music technology is helping more and more to create some sounds or music. So, for example, I have a dream to make an interface that will help people to compose music without any musical education, for example. So I would like this like system in our application. It's like a very basic image of this interface. So it's like you are merging listener with musician. So you are destroying this border, this barrier between musician and listener. So, for example, you will get an opportunity to make music without knowing compression settings or something like this. Yeah, now we have a lot of tutorials, and you have a lot of information about how to make your own music. But still, you have to learn a lot how to do it with these hard to learn interfaces. Maybe we are going to this era of very simple interfaces.
Mm-hmm.
People will use these interfaces to make their own music, but if they will be interested enough, they will learn how to play instruments, how to use compressors and equalizers and something like this, synthesizers. So because it's a different kind of energy. So yeah, of course, you can tap on screen and get some music that you can enjoy. But so, for example, I'm learning to play guitar, and it's a very it's the most
Difficult.
satisfying experience
Yeah.
that I have now. So I can't change it for anything. So for any application. So it's a very unique experience, and musicians can be sure that these AI and generative and other algorithmic tools will help them. But yeah, of course, it will like very common tool.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I think my nephew was probably about 6 or 7 years old, and he sent me this beat he made on
Mm-hmm.
GarageBand, and I heard it, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is really good!" Like
Yeah,
I'm like,
of course.
What the hell?" Like I'm thinking like, but what he's doing is he's grabbing a few random loops and he's sending it to me, and there's for a 6-year-old child who doesn't understand music and is just exploring it for the first time. It was a lot of fun for him to just say, "Oh, I picked those drums and I picked that bass and I picked this weird, crazy sound, and now I have a song."
Yeah.
But like you said, there's something else. He puts that down 5 seconds later because I think maybe the satisfaction level is a little low. Learning, his brother actually learning the piano,
Mm-hmm.
which is a labor-intensive undertaking to learn the piano, and his progress is obviously much slower. And but I think his satisfaction level, as you alluded to, is much higher. That it's something that he keeps coming back to and keep exploring, and it's been the same for me with musical instruments or with even producing music. That the depth of it is really interesting and exciting to explore. And I don't know if you can really replace that, even if you can kind of put a few settings or drag a few Apple loops or some sample
Mm-hmm.
pack and get a product that maybe sounds as good, whatever good means. The sort of satisfaction of like learning how to do it is something to be not forgotten.
Yeah, you're right. So I think that you're 100% right. So so I am very I have a very strong opinion about these future music production tools. They will help people to get into this music production to more serious production. Yeah, so but they won't replace these tools. So because yeah,
Yeah, well, so many
it's
people.
it's a very different level of satisfaction. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. And so many people do get sucked into the world of playing an
Mhm.
instrument or music production from an app where they're just with one finger composing a song. That is very often the kind of gateway to what ultimately becomes a lifelong exploration.
Yeah, so gateway is a very good word for this actually. So I think that it's yeah, you're right. So yeah, now we have this Mubert Pro platform, and it's in beta version, and maybe we can talk about this collaboration.
Yeah.
I am the world.
I am the world.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you
yeah,
guys are setting what you are calling the world's biggest collaboration in A minor. So
yeah.
yeah,
So it's very ambitious.
yeah.
But
Hashtag I am the world. There's a planet Earth behind it, and
yeah,
so yeah, maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you guys are trying to do with that.
yeah. So actually, when we made this Mubert Pro platform that every musician in the world can use and upload sounds, we are started to thinking how to show this platform to the world. So how to introduce it, and of course we have this algorithm that can make a collaboration of a lot of musicians. So for example, we have now we have collaborations of maybe 10 or 20 musicians is in one stream. So stream is what we so stream is the word for the generative track.
Okay.
So yeah, we use stream
Stream equals
stream.
song, kind of.
Yeah, so it's like a generative track. And for example, we had collaboration with Atom TM. So maybe you know this German musician, a very interesting experimental techno electro musician. So he gave us his percussion samples, and we added samples from maybe 13 or 15, maybe something like that, musicians, and we mixed them together, and we got a very interesting stream. So a set of loops that were playing together, and it, it sounds actually very interesting. So because these people were composing these loops without knowing what other people are doing. So, but when we mixed these sounds, we were surprised by this sound because it was like very natural and very good music, and we decided to start more ambitious collaboration. And yeah, to do this, we started this I am the world. So am like I am A minor.
Oh,
So I am
okay.
the world collaboration.
I didn't
Yeah.
notice that.
So it's like 1 BPM, 140 BPM. It's like bit rate, average heart rate of people's. Yeah, BPM is like heartbeat, and 140 is average heartbeat tempo for people, for humanity. That's why we chose chosen this. We've chosen this BPM and AM. So yeah, because it's a very common and nice sounding key and scale, and yeah, you can do some jazzy stuff or minor stuff or neutral mood. So yeah, it's very universal. Um, yeah, and we decided to um, invite a lot of musicians from all over the world to upload just at least one sound to our platform, and we will add these sounds to one stream. So, for example, now we have maybe less than 1,000, but maybe 200 sounds or I don't know. I have to check. maybe now more. But yeah. So we are going to gain 2 or 3 thousand samples in this collaboration. Uh, I think that it's a realistic plan. But even if we will get less, so I think that we will.
It'd be nice to have a lot of people contributing sounds, and then they'll have this endless stream of infinite variations of these different samples.
Yeah. So I think that we can collect a few thousand sounds from musicians from all over the world, and I think that it will sound very interesting because I checked some sounds that already are uploaded, and I was surprised again because they are very similar in context of mood and energy. So it's like a very interesting psychedelic and ambient and very spacey sounds. And I don't know why, but it's like it's kind of magic that different people can compose some very similar sounds that will suit together. And I want to listen more sounds to check if this tendency will. So yeah, it's a very interesting tendency that our users are uploading these sounds that that will suit together in a very good way. So without knowing, without any references.
This is something anyone can contribute to? So people listening can send you sounds?
Yeah, of course.
And where can they go to do that?
We have this Mubert platform, beta.mubert.com. You can find the samples tab, this platform, and you can upload or in a 100 BPM loop to this platform. Tag it with this I am the world tag. So that's all. Actually, you have to register the platform and upload at least one sound and tag it with this tag. Actually,
Nice.
So that's all. And it's a very simple rule. And after that, we will use the sounds with this tags. So maybe we will check them. So not maybe. I'm sure that we will check these sounds because of copyright issues. Maybe someone can upload a sample. I don't know, from some famous musician,
Right.
so that we can't use. So yeah, we will check these copyright issues. And
don't do that. Don't do that, everyone.
yeah. Please don't upload sounds that you didn't compose yourself by yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. So it's
Mhm.
beta.mubert.com that
Yeah,
people can go
beta.mubert.com.
and they can upload. I'll put something on there myself. I'll
Oh, thank
send a
you.
sound. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you can find Mubert also on the App Store of iOS and Android.
Yeah,
And
iOS, Android. Also, we have other apps. So yeah, we are using our technology for different cases. So we have application called For, so music for something like FOR, and also we have application called Zen 8, ZEN8. So it's like background music for your stories and something like this.
oh, okay,
So yeah, so these applications are using this Mubert technology, but so the main idea that I want to deliver that you can use our tool for free to experiment with generative music, and you can participate in this collaboration. You can upload the sounds, your sounds in 140 BPM and A minor to participate in I Am the World collaboration. And of course, you can use our platform to create your generative streams. So you can finally find the place for your unfinished demos.
right.
So because because you don't have to finish them actually.
hmm
So I have a lot of friends who can't finish their demos, their tracks, and they're kind of frustrated with this because they like to tweak some sounds to compose melodies, loops. So, but they can't finish a composition. They are sound designers, maybe not
Right.
musicians. Okay, so it's okay to be a sound designer. It's cool. I'm a sound designer myself. So I don't have a lot of finished tracks also, but I'm enjoying this sound design process, and I have a lot of loops. And yeah, Mubert for me and for others who can't finish their demos is a great tool to realize, to um, distribute these uh, musical ideas to the listeners. So, for example, you can compose a loop and it sounds good. So you can listen it for hours. Maybe you can turn some parts on and off, and you can play. It's like live. So yeah, you can play. You can hit records and make a track, but I think that in most cases, loop. So it's not a track, but in the form of generative music, in form of Mubert stream, it can be like like an art itself. So yeah, you
Right.
can make a sample pack, but who will listen a sample pack?
hmm
Yeah, but if you made a sample pack and upload it to our platform, you will get a piece of art actually, collaboration between algorithm who take which takes a composition. You are responsible for sounds, and algorithm is responsible for composition and arrangement. So and after that, we can publish these streams in our application. So if you will download our application, you can find a tab called special tab, and we have daily playlist, deep, experimental, groovy. So a set of playlists with users generative music. So we are picking streams which are created on the Mubert platform, and we publishing it in our application. So, and we have a 200,000 of monthly active users. So it's a lot of listeners actually. So
Yeah.
yeah, and for example, if if you uploaded a sample pack and we chose it for daily stream, it's playing for one day in our application in daily button, in daily category, and you can get so like 10,000 of plays in one day. So because of our users,
Right.
they are very uh, passionate about this generative music. They are innovators, they're creative people, and they are listening this music because for them it's interesting to interact with something new, with something interesting. And Mubert for them is like sometimes we called it Generation Z radio. So yeah. So
That's
it's a
cool.
good way to gain new audience, at least.
Yeah, I could see maybe like an artist throwing together some of their unfinished ideas and maybe
Mm-hmm.
having like this is my little meditation thing. You can generate some music, or you're studying for your big test tonight. Here, put this on, and or we're doing our morning jog, are we? Well, let's.
Yeah, yeah,
It could
yeah.
be fun like that. So
Yeah,
that,
so it's a good way to use your loops that
yeah,
you didn't use
yeah, make some
for
use
the
of it.
finished tracks. Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. I thank you very much for taking the time to tell us about this. We're going to tell people to go to mubert.com. It's spelled Mubert. And of course, this will all be in the show notes. And if you want to participate in the I Am the World major collaboration, there's also beta.mubert.com. And there's the app on your phone as well.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah, thanks
for
very
the
much.
talk. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Uh,
we'll put this in the show notes, and
mhm.
people can check it out. And it's cool. I look forward to seeing how this big, huge collaboration in A minor turns out.
Yeah, I hope that we will get a lot of sounds and it will sound great because, yeah, it's an ambitious collaboration and we have to do our best to uh, make it very interesting to listen to.
Well, great. Well, I thank you for your time, and I
Thank
thank
you.
you everyone for listening. And I hope you all have a great day.
Yeah, bye.